It's time to Elle'vate, a podcast by women dedicated to building a community of women who will straighten each other's crowns instead of knocking them down. My name is Ferris. I am the owner of the Ferris Agency. I'm president of the Hope Mills Chamber of Commerce, and I am incredibly excited to be here today with our very first guest on our Elle'vate podcast, none other than the owner of Family MMA and the confidence coach herself, Miss Tracy Huff. Hello, Tracy.
Good morning. Hello. We're so excited to finally be doing this, aren't we?
Playing with my media buttons. All right.
Woo. Yeah, we got some sound effects. Be prepared.
So we are thrilled to have Tracy on. It seems so funny saying have Tracy on because, well, you know, you're the co-host, but it's fine. To talk about her book launch. This is super exciting. This is something that has been a really long time in the works, very highly anticipated. And I think that you guys are going to be really, really excited about it too. So Tracy, would you like to just give us a little bit of information about who you are and what makes you tick?
Absolutely. I don't know if we have time for the what makes you tick part, but we will get started anyway. So I am the owner of Family Martial Arts Academy, and I have been a martial arts instructor since 2008, probably a little bit before 2008, but I took over my school in 2008. So I have been working with kids and families, building their confidence since then. And I've been a martial artist since 2005. Yeah, that sounds like a long time ago, but I've been a martial artist since 2005. I was a white belt. I started martial arts because my son, Steven, was having trouble in school with peer pressure. And my friend, who's now my instructor, Master Scrow, said, you need to put him in martial arts. It'll build his confidence. So I was like, really? It will? Okay. And so I put him in martial arts, and I was sitting there watching him do martial arts. And at the time, my husband was in Iraq. And I was working my computer business. So I was working like 14, 16-hour days with my kids by myself, my husband in Iraq. And I really...
Yeah, I can imagine. I know my husband's not in Iraq. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just go try martial arts and I'll just see. I'll just, hitting something sounded and felt really good to me. And that's why I got started. And so I got started on the mat to do that. And I got to train with my younger son, Steven, for 6 months. And we bonded. The bond that we had in those 6 months of training. He's an adult now. He's Dr. Huff now, right? And married and, has a career. But that bond that we created is what really got me excited about what martial arts can do. And then when he didn't want to train anymore and we stopped training for a while, I realized how much I missed it. And just missing pushing myself, being in a place where other people had expectations of me, because I was a business owner and I was doing that and I was comfortable doing that. And, I was confident doing that. But on the mat, they were asking me to do things. And I was like, I'm sorry, you know what I am? You want me to do what with this and put it in the air and kick? Have you met me? Have you seen? And I just realized that was where I had the most negative self-talk. And that it wasn't my normal positive self. I was in this place where I doubted my ability to do it. And that's what made me fall in love with martial arts, and then fall in love with the tool that it is to develop you as a person. Because I had to grow, and I never started martial arts to become a black belt, to be a school owner, to do any of that. But I had to grow as a person as I grew as a martial artist. And I've become addicted to that. And I've been able to use that everywhere else, which is where we've got started here. And so last year, I really wanted to expand my reach. I've been frustrated for a while that my impact is only stuck to this geographic area. And so I've been looking for a way to expand that out and get people results who couldn't come and train with me on the mat. And that's what led to the book. And it's been on my list to do. I'm not going to lie. I told my students, it's been on my list to do since about 2005. And so, and I started it at the beginning of the pandemic. I started another one at the beginning of the pandemic, and then I didn't tell anybody that I was doing it, and so that's why you guys haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
It's coming though. It's coming. But with this one, I said, okay, I'm not going to do that. And I've been talking to my students about like reaching more and how we can help our community more. And so I put it out there that I'm going to write this book. And my friend, Master Cindy Barrington, who has a school ironically called Family Martial Arts in Georgia, like mine's, we were talking about some martial arts business. And I was like, hey, Kwanjin told me, that I should write this book. Because when I went to expand my business, people were like, what do you know about coaching? Like, what do you know about helping people be their best? And I was like, what? What do you mean? What do I know? Like, I do that every day, 4 times a day. And his recommendation was to write the book. And Cindy and I came up with the title. I was trying to come up with all these fancy schmancy titles, like the leadership skills, 7 habits, blah, blah, blah. And we were talking. I'm like, why am I fronting? I'm going to teach somebody how to punch failure in the face.
There it was.
And boom. There it was. And that's
very neat. And I think that was like one of the biggest things, like when you handed it to me and you were like, I want you to read this. And I was like, how would you punch? Okay. Like, there's a lot of books that people want you to read, and there's a lot of self-help and motivational and. And it's usually, the ones that like, girl wipe your face or you are a badass, that I'm like, I'm going to read that one. So I think that from a marketing perspective, right, well done.
Thank you. But it came from the authentic place. Like, that's what we do. So when I'm working with my instructors and my assistant instructors, it's like, yes, martial arts is the tool to build confidence. Martial arts is the tool to develop the leader in you. And have to, and if you've never punched anything, I invite you to come punch something with me, because once you do it, you'll like it a lot, right? It feels good. It's a great stress reliever. And we use these skills to visually punch stuff in the face. And failure comes with a lot of overwhelm and stress and fear. And so we got to learn how to punch through that to get the other side of it. And then that was the other reason, because I always tell them, we're not punching in the face. We're punching that in the face today. I even have this great graphic I'll use on my social media. It's like a big wall. It says, punch today in the face. Don't be punched, punch it. So it kind of goes with what we do on a regular basis. So it came from an authentic place. And some people have had like interesting reactions to it. Like, we shouldn't teach people how to hit things. And I'm thinking, should we? Really? Are you sure? Are you sure we shouldn't do that?
I mean, it's really, it's one of those things that like, you can either teach people how to do it appropriately, how to handle it appropriately, how to, or they're just going to be out there punching people like crazy anyway, So, but I think that it's fantastic. And I know personally, I was really excited about it. And I have a 13-year-old. So, I'm very, very interested in getting her involved with some of the things that you do, because that's a very, very tender, emotional age for her. And, she could use the confidence boost. I mean, I think we all could, really.
Well, and see, even with most of our students, and even with our adult students, it's believing that you're worth defending, believing that you're worth protecting. So we really start. So with all the students that come in as white belts, I explain to the parents, what we're really working on as a white belt from white to yellow is the belief that they can. We're working on getting them used to failing, right? Because we're always asking them to do things they've never done before, and they've got to just kind of get a little resilient with like sucking at it at first, right? Because it's new. Why wouldn't, like, the expectations? But really tying into the fact that they have their own unique set of skills and abilities that matter. And that's really where, when we go through the process of what we're doing and we're celebrating the epic fails, like we're celebrating like, oh my God, you were so close. That's really where we build that and building that self-worth and like, hey, I am worth something. Hey, I do have something to offer, and I can do things that I didn't think I could do. That's really where it starts to gel. And then once they put on that next layer, then it's okay. Now you're a leader to all the white belts. And now we start teaching them the responsibility part, and just like taking all of those things that we do on the mat. And I say we do because I assumed other martial arts schools did this, and not all of them do. Right. And so taking that, and the book is the process that we use on the mat for every rank, right? It's a rinse and repeat kind of thing. It's you go through this whole process, and then you get to that level, and then you go to the next level. You got to start all over again, right? Back to believing you can, back to working on your attitude, back to having personal standards about what you're doing. And every step is just that repeat process, and it gets easier. And you'll find, depending on the level, you'll get stuck in different places, depending on what you're trying to do, like how far out of your comfort zone it is. Different steps stop you at different places, but that makes it so exciting. And to be able to bring that and pull that out for people who may not at first be comfortable coming into a karate school and doing what we do, they're still going to get the benefits of what we do with this process. And that's what's got me really excited. And really, like I told my students, it scares the crap out of me that I wrote this book. It scared the crap out of me to tell them that I was going to write this book, because they kind of didn't believe me, which I take that back. My students believe me because they know me. But some of my parents of my students were like, yeah, she ain't going to do that. And they told me after, yeah, I apologize. I told them you weren't going to do it. Right. But being able to be that and show them and say, this scares me. It scares me to have you guys read it. I'm scared.
Right.
I don't want to be judged. I don't want negative opinions, and not everyone's going to benefit.
And not everybody
right?
is going to understand, what you're trying to do with it either. And there are always going to be, there's people who don't get it. And so they're going to knock it down, and you know what I mean? And they're not even going to try. And honestly, those people are not your people, and those are not your target audience. But I think that it really does go hand in hand, the confidence and the martial arts and all of it. And I think that there's a lot that can be taken away from that and applied to everyday life. And I know, the book is really how to punch failure in the face. So, kind of, at least for me, as a business owner, I look at it as these are ways to be more confident in my business and even in my everyday life. But on the other side of that, my 13-year-old daughter, my 40-year-old husband, like there are a lot of things that they can apply to this too, which is something that I love. So I was going to ask who is the target demographic? Who's this book for? But I really think that this book is for anybody who really just wants to work on being the best version of themselves, even if it's just being a little bit more confident.
Yeah, and I really, like I tell the teenage boys all the time, I need your help in coming up with cool stuff to attract teenage boys, because I am not a teenage boy. I've never been a teenage boy. I don't understand it. So I wrote the book from the perspective of women like us, being professional women who have businesses or careers, or the moms. I was a working mom this entire time. And then with my husband being in Iraq, I was a geographical single mother, right? And then in the middle of this, I have the blessing of becoming a grandma. And so now I'm a working grandma, right? And then I have to support my grown kids in their lives in this thing. And so for all of those things, it's for all of those women. And for all of those women that are all those things at the same time. Some of us are all those things at the same time, and we're not. But as we grow and progress, it's going to give us the tools that we need to get through that. More importantly, though, having the boundaries to still take care of us. And that's really why, I'm really with the targeting professional women and moms, because that's where, and you know this, Casey, because you've got 6 kids and you're a business owner and a working mom and the chamber president, and we're a wife and a mother and a friend, and we have all these other responsibilities, and the person that always gets put last is us. And so that's why we start out at the very beginning, drawing boundaries, learning how to set boundaries. And I have this conversation. So the stupidest thing happened. When my phone updates, I assume because it's on that it's like on. So I didn't really pay attention to it. And apparently people had been messaging me on Tuesday and my phone wasn't on. And so I didn't get any messages until like late Tuesday night. And so I had someone talk to me yesterday. He's like, I thought you were ignoring me. And I said, well, this is what happened. He's like, oh, the no excuse person has an excuse. I said, it's not an excuse. I said, I draw boundaries. And I learned a long time ago to draw some hard boundaries when it came to cutting off for the work and the business and the social and everything, so that when I'm with my family, they know that I'm with my family. And the joke is, like, if you try and call me on the weekend and you can't get me, just call my husband, because he always knows where I am. Like, he knows where I am. But I'm not going to be on that phone or doing those things, because it's my commitment to my family that when I'm home.
That's something that I definitely need to work on, especially because, all of my work can like be done from my phone. And so like I take, hey, this right here, 4 different emails on here and 17 different Facebook pages. So
yeah. That's right. Yeah. And it's going to seep and seep and seep. And then what happens, and again, this is what I learned in like with my relationships with my kids and my husband, they feel neglected. And so most of the time, your husbands don't really need that much time. It's kind of like that movie, The Breakup, right? With Jennifer Aniston, where she's like, I want you to want to do the dishes. And he says, nobody wants to do the dishes, right? But it's that kind of thing. They just want you to want to be there. And then sometimes just taking that step towards them is really all your family needs. And then they'll understand, yeah, she's working a lot right now, but I know on Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend or this weekend that we're going to be able to do these things, and you're not going to be distracted by that. It gives them more patience and temperance with you. When you have to have those moments when you do have to work a lot and long. And it's just, but when they know that you've carved out that time for them, it makes them feel important. And it makes them feel like you respect that relationship, or that relationship is important. So I had to explain to that person, that's a boundary. I've literally pulled into my driveway on Friday night.
I did that. So we went to Wisconsin this past weekend, and I was trying very hard, I got everything done that I needed to do. I took my laptop and that was it. Like, I didn't take it out of the bag, but I took it just in case. And I had to turn my phone on airplane mode. Like, I was like, nope, you know what?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it was just one of those things, like, I had let everybody know I was on vacation. I wasn't going to be available. But if other people aren't really going to respect your time and boundaries, you have to make sure that you respect your own time and boundaries. And so that was, I go to Wisconsin once a year. I haven't seen half of my family and such,
It's not like you're gone every weekend, and it's not like you're doing that every month, right? But we don't give ourselves a break. Like, we think that, and not that we don't have to work harder, because we do. It's just the nature of the beast. However, we've got to refuel, like Stephen Covey. You gotta put money, you gotta make deposits. And so if you don't set those boundaries and do things that you like to do and want to do, you're not going to have it to give like we need to give. And so that is one of the things that it's so important that we figure out early and first, so that we can set those boundaries. And when I was doing my computer business, people expected you to be on 24/7. And when I would not be available over a weekend, that's when I really learned this lesson. They were like, but you weren't available. I said, I know, because you don't pay me to be available 24/7. And so I'm not, your business is 24/7. My business is not 24/7. And so setting those boundaries and the expectations with your customers is just key, but making sure that it's not just always doing that for someone else. That's the second thing. We sometimes will do that for work and then spend all of our time taking care of our families. And that's still not taking care of ourselves. To an extent it is, because we feel good about being able to be that. But whoever went back and said women can have it all should be beat, right? Because that was just a lie that we all bought into for a really long time, because you can have it all. But when they said it was all of everyone else's expectations of what we should be doing, and not us defining that for ourselves and then creating the life around that. That's really where I think we can really support each other, and as part of this community, support each other in that, and not be the person that says, well, they're not even available. No, be like, yeah, they take some time.
She also has kids and exactly.
When and so let's support each other in that was one of my favorite things that we created when my husband was in Iraq. My neighbor across the street, she was a cook. She still is a cook. Well, she works in the bakery at Walmart, but then she was a cook. And so she had to be up at 3:00 in the morning. And I was going to college and I was working at night. So I was working at night and needed help at night. She needed help first thing in the morning. And so she would bring all the kids to me in the morning, and I would get everybody breakfast and fed and off to school. And then she would pick them all up in the evening and get them dinner and bathed and ready for bed. And that's the kind of thing. And my friend Buffy, like, we would, who's going to what practice? Okay, I can't make there. Can you grab my kids? Yeah. I'll meet you there. Like, we support each other that way. We created those relationships. My favorite story about that, and I don't even know, Buffy, I'm going to make sure you hear this, because I got a call from the school from James Gregory, because some girl was playing in his hair. Now, I don't know why she got, like, my son, like, anyway, girl was playing in his hair, and she called me to say he would not stop her from playing in his hair. I was like, okay, really? I got to stop everything I'm doing to deal with this. Okay. So I told the teacher that won't be a problem tomorrow. And I called my friend Buffy. I said, Buff, if you have time before practice, can you take James to the barber and get all of his hair shaved, please? And she said, sure. Right? So, like, that's the support that we had, because Buff's like, yeah, I'll do it. And the great thing that happened with those relationships, our kids are still friends now. Like, our kids are still connected. And with Buffy, when we dropped James off at college, she went with us, and she cried more than I did. Like, she was, like, at a loss. But that's the great thing that we get to create for each other. It's not just the relationships with each other and the support of each other, but what we show our kids, and then our kids get to keep and maintain those relationships too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, like, the cool part. And I think in our community it's easier because we're military, but maybe not. Maybe people have forgotten that we're.
I think a lot of times, you do have those bonds that you form, like, by being military, but I think that the military aspect makes it harder. I mean, at least for me, like, I'm not military affiliated. I'm just here in Fayetteville. But, like, early on, like, I would work really hard, and I'm really busy, and I do a lot, and I find it difficult to make female friends, right? Because my schedule is crazy, because I am, growing a business, and a lot of people who are, closer to my age, that's not really where they're at right now. So I have a difficult time with that. But it seemed like as soon as I made a friend, they PCS. And I was like, that's it. Like, I'm done. If you are in the military, I'm not making friends with you anymore. Like, no, this is it. And so, like, everybody just leaves. But I think that Fayetteville's a little bit harder. But I think that, we as women in general make it so hard on ourselves. And I know I touched on it a little tiny bit in the intro, and I know I've touched on it in some of the other stuff that we've done, but, like, you see another woman's success, and, well, not you, but a lot of women will see another woman's success and take that as intimidation. And they take that as they almost get jealous. And I don't think, oh, are you still there? You're walking.
I am. I'm walking.
And I hate that so much, because it really barricades us, and it puts up those barriers to where we now are jealous of that person and holding them at an arm's length, and we can't now join in with that person or help empower them. And it frustrates me quite a bit. Because we tend to get catty.
Yeah, and it's building the comfort zone of just being comfortable with yourself, to, like, recognize and help them see things differently, give them a different perspective.
right? Because we are our own worst enemy. We don't need help. Right? We don't need help. So, but now the one thing I always say about the PCS thing, my best friend is someone that I knew in high school. And I met Jenny my senior year of high school. We both were moved into the school district, and we had to take a freshman history class as seniors. And that's how we met. And we only went to school like together for a year. And then after we graduated, then probably 60 days later, I left for basic training, and I've never lived there again because, well, I met my husband, I got disowned, and all of that's on the introduction. If you don't know that story, you can go on Amazon and read it with the book. But I got disowned, so going home kind of wasn't pleasant for me. But she's still my best friend. She's still my best friend. So we've made it work. And this was before computers were in every house, before you had Zoom and FaceTime and Facebook. We did it the old-fashioned way. We used the telephone, and we wrote letters, and we made sure we saw each other. So it's easier to maintain those relationships now than ever before. And so we can still support each other, maybe not on the day-to-day picking up our kids, but even if it's just, I need to talk to someone about what happened to me, right? Or, because as women in business and women professionals, there are always things that happen. So, and we were talking about this in the class, the Ignite class. We had a father and a mother and a son together, and we were talking about something, and he said he understood. I said, I'm sorry, but you can't understand because you're a white guy, and your mother and I, we have been in this world and in business and doing things professionally before there was a Me Too movement. So being sexually harassed was something that happened and something that we were taught to accept.
To the amazing, fantastically awesome Tracy Huff.
Thank you.
Yes. So one of the things, do you remember where we were? I don't even remember where we were.
We're just talking about how technology means that we can support each other all over the world and how cool that is.
That is so cool.
Yeah. That's the great thing about our time now is, and even, this is about women who do that. So I want to encourage the women to not think so small. You can be worldwide in today's world with technology. Years ago, it used to be so hard, and now everything is so much easier. And the pandemic actually got us all a little over the hump when it came to technology. So I'm just going to challenge you to think bigger. Think bigger about what you want to do and who you want to impact and how you want to do it, because it's easier than ever before. And to support each other and to be that for each other. That's where we leave off.
Well, and speaking of, using technology to do things we've never done before and support each other, you have got a 4-week course coming up that can be signed up for online.
Yes. So, again, the purpose of the book and the purpose of putting myself out there and scaring the crap out of myself was to have a bigger impact besides my school and besides karate. And so we have the book is a course, and the course, of course, is how to punch failure in the face if you want the 12-week course. But if you're not sure and you just want to start by building some confidence, then we have the Ignite Your Inner Spark course, and it's 4 weeks. It covers our first 3 steps of believing that it's possible and getting a positive can-do attitude, and then really understanding what your personal standards are and what motivates you and inspires you so that you can then set your goals to do the scary things. And that's what the Ignite Your Inner Spark is about. It's about creating that space for you to figure out what you are amazing at, and we can be the catalyst to get you started. Or if you've already started it but you're not getting where you want to go, we can be that accelerant to really get you revved up and going even faster. And the next class starts on Wednesday. I think that's June 8th. Yeah, I think it's June 8th. Wednesday is 11 o'clock, and you can go to bit.ly defeat self-doubt to register. Yeah.
That is very, very exciting. So what are some of the things that people can expect to kind of take away from this course?
So I've been completely humbled and honored by the feedback that I've gotten from the students that have taken it so far. And it's been
the confidence has been at least 5x. Like they are doing things that they didn't think that they could do. They have the confidence in themselves to draw boundaries and create things in their lives that they didn't think that they could do. And they really have a better understanding of not only what their natural gifts are and what they do and what they create for people, but how to take that and use it to help even more people than they thought that they could, in a way that motivates them to do it and really living by their standards. So we all know how to goal set. But again, sometimes we take on other people's perceptions. So with the end of the 4-week course, you're going to really understand how to set their goals for what's important to you, right? Because having a successful business does not look the same for everybody.
Right.
It depends on what you want to do with your business, and understanding that you get to create that and you get to choose that. And when other people try to judge you for it, it just falls off your back because you know what you're doing. That's what we create in those 4 weeks, which is exciting.
Yes. Yes. And it's you raise a very good point, because not everybody's goal in starting a business is to make all the money. You know what I mean? And so with me, my goal with the Ferris agency was to work less. I wanted to spend more time with my family. And
It's a challenge. It's
I
not
was going to say, I have not achieved that goal as of right now.
right.
My new assistant starts in an hour.
Yeah, but it's like, you've got to know where you're going and know that that's what you're so every day you're working to create that. And so when you're planning it, you're knowing, okay, but this is to work less. So now I have to work a little bit harder. I've got to set up systems. I've got to build a client base. I've got to decide where I want, like what I want my client to look like. Well, once you have that and then you start building for it, you'll get to that goal. But it's knowing that that's what's important to you. That's what's important to you. And being able to create that is something you can completely do.
That's very cool. Well, I know personally, right, I have not taken one of your courses, but I did a vision board workshop with you for 3 hours, and I left feeling so incredibly motivated and ready to take on the entire world. And a lot of the things that were on that vision board have actually come to pass. So, like, as a advocate for Tracy, or if you want to use this as a video referral or recommendation, right? If you want to look to be empowered and gain confidence, and even if it's just, you need a little bit of a boost, Tracy's your.
Yeah. And so I do a lot of stuff. Like, you can go on my YouTube channel. You can go on the FMAA Fayetteville YouTube channel. There's a lot of stuff out there for you guys. We've got the stuff on our obstacles and just purpose. And if you need a boost, go out there, find it. I've got you. That we can take care of that for you. And if you're really ready to make change, and you know that you know that there's a better version of you that you're not living, then enroll in the class. We'll help you find it, and we'll help you connect to it. And then we'll help you be amazing and impacting your world and your community in a way that has never happened before. So that's what we're creating. Because we all know that when you get women together, we naturally get things done. And that's what we're doing. It's really exciting.
Yes, it is. So now, where are all of the different ways that people can sign up for this course or check out your book? We want to make sure that, I know it's on Amazon.
Yeah, you can go to Amazon. Yeah, you can go to the familymma.com, and on our business resources, you can buy it straight from me, a signed copy, and some other unexpected gifts that I'm not going to tell you about now that you'll get if you get the signed copy from me. You can go to familymma.com and find my book, the link to order my book straight from me there, and get some other free stuff. And the course is bit.ly, defeat self-doubt, and you can register for our next course there.
Awesome. And we will make sure that we've got the link shared across our social media as well for those of you that are looking to sign up. But be sure to like and follow Family MMA on Facebook as well, because they do have a lot of really, really cool motivational things. And I know you do a podcast regularly. and they've got lots of classes. They've got classes for the ladies. They've got classes. They've got a summer camp for the kids.
Yeah, we got camps for the kids. We're going to do some stuff. The teenagers, if God help me, if I can pull it out of their brains, we're going to do stuff to make them happy. And the parent appreciation and our women's self-defense class. And we even do some fun stuff. We're doing a parent appreciation event. It's June 25th. Just getting everyone together. That's not. I told them just to get everybody together as another excuse to eat. I'm just saying. And we do like a movie matinee. So there's just always stuff that we're doing at the school that you're just like us on Facebook and you'll find out all what we've got going on. Like for us, summer is not a chill time. Summer is a time for us to kick it into a whole nother gear because we can be silly in the summer. And I like to reward students that show up in the summer with some cool, unexpected things. So I teach them things they don't normally get to learn. I'm having guest instructors come in and do some things. So we just always try and keep you guessing, right? Giving you a reason to come to class. Plus, during Crazy Hair Week, I teach class in a fro. That's all I'm gonna say. We go all in. It's funny.
I would not imagine anything less from you, Tracy.
I know. And boy, by the end of the night, that fro is hot. I'm like, whoo, how do you get this hair off my head? Yeah, so good times all around with that.
Good. It sounds like it. Well, I am, like I said, I'm really excited about everything that's coming up. I'm really excited about, finding out more about all the cool stuff that you've got going on down the road. Is there anything else that you just wanted to mention or that we needed to cover?
At a minimum, I just want to say, every single person that can hear this and see this, you have unique skills and abilities that we need in this world now. And I say that to every single person because every single person needs to know that this is how my instructor said it to me. And I love it because it's succinct and eloquent that you were born for a purpose. No, you were born on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose. And it's your job to live that. And it's my job to help you figure out how. So if you know how and you're not doing it, get started. If you don't know how and you need help get started, tap into us. We'll help you. But we all need to be living that thing that you know that you should do that you're afraid to do it. We need it. We need it. And so I'd like to say, leave it with that. Be it. You are needed and necessary.
That is exactly right. Thank you, Tracy. And thank you for being our very first guest and talking about your book and all of your classes coming up. I would like to just invite everybody to like and follow along on the Facebook page as well as the Elle'vate group. We're going to be sharing all of our podcast information there. It's going to be shared on the Family MMA page as well as the Ferris Agency page as well. So lots of exposure. And I would really just like to challenge everybody out there today that when you are walking down the street or going on with your day-to-day business, if you see someone else out there who's struggling, instead of pointing out to the whole world that their crown has fallen or that their crown is crooked, let's go and straighten a crown today.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let's help empower and motivate and inspire everyone else who's out there trying to make it through this crazy world.
That's right. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Do great, and we'll see you next Friday.